Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the planner page. I have grabbed my Pasteltint pencils because I was talking about doing the water in a pastel-y colour, or the sky, whatever it is. So here are my Pasteltints, and I'm thinking that maybe a sort of mid greeny blue colour might work like this, but I'm wondering if that's a little bit too bright. I'm thinking perhaps I want something to sit back into the background, so I think I'm going to go for this jade. I'm just going to find it. Oops. Let's have a look. Where is the jade? There's the jade. So I'm just going to grab that one. Let's pop those to the side. Oof. There's actually a bit of room today. The desk isn't too messy. And I'm just going to do the jade, and I think I'm just going to put it down in quite an even plain layer. It's quite close to that, isn't it? Maybe I would have been better doing that bright colour. Never mindy. Now in the sky / water, whatever this is, below the fish, we have some swirls and some dots, and I thought it would be fun to do those in maybe a metallic pen. So I brought through my Gelly-Rolls to do that with. But I won't be doing that immediately. I think it'll make more sense for me to leave that until the end, because otherwise I'll probably smudge them, particularly as my Gelly-Rolls are quite, I think juicy is a term I've heard, quite wet, you know, so they're really likely to smudge. They don't dry very quickly. The Poscas dry much more quickly. I was using them in a video the other day, which you would have potentially seen. It's already gone out on the glass seedling in a jar from Hannah Carlson, and I used one of my metallics and then thought I'd left it to dry and tried to go over it and made a smudgy mess. It was different. It wasn't the modern art look I was going for, but you know, that's fine. Oh, talking of modern art, I was interestingly, I was at a popped into a shop selling art. It's sort of like a gallery. They do exhibitions and things, but there's a shop unit in a shopping centre. I can't remember what they were called, but anyway, they had these pieces of art, and they had some really amazing art pieces which were photorealistic big cats like lions and tigers, and you got close, you could see each individual hair. It was just amazing. And then they had some pieces which were Banksy-esque. The chap who made them worked with Banksy, and so they had some parts which were like the Banksy stencils, and then a sort of whole other layers behind with different types of graffiti and paint and things like that. Now they look to me like, you know, I know making the stencil takes a bit of time and thinking of it, and then you've got to sort of decide what colour graffiti to do that's going to work and all that. But to me it looks like that sort of picture could be done in a day, knowing how long it takes to do art, being, you know, and yet, but the ones of the animals, you know, they were bigger. They looked to me like they would take about 3 months. Full-time work, this is, you know, for both. And yet the selling prices, the art was for sale. The Banksy-esque picture, the guy in the gallery shop said they're very, very popular urban art graffiti type stuff. They were £22,000, and the beautiful cats, which, you know, looked like they took so much time, were only £4,000, and I was like flabbergasted, really. I think it's all about provenance, you know. Yes, I was trained by Banksy, so therefore my work is worth so much more money than this person who isn't famous, wasn't trained by anyone famous, but who looks like they've got so much more, had to practice so much more, they've had to put so much more time into the picture. And it's just astounding, really. I find the value of art quite strange. I went to, going to leave that there, come in a bit closer and work on the buildings. I went to Tate Modern and I was just annoyed. It's like, some of the art there looks like it took about 5 minutes to put together. And I'm like, what's going on? Why? I just don't get it. This is the Harvest Gold. I'm going to use it for all of the roofs, for all of these buildings. I want all the roofs to be the same. So I'm just going to happily calm myself down with colouring the roofs. I'm going to make them a little darker or more layered up on the outside, and then less towards the middle on each one. And yeah, but I just don't understand. Oh well, they were the first person to do it that way, so that doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it valuable. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know whether buyers don't know anything about art, or whether, I don't know what it is. I really don't. But you know, I certainly, when I'm looking at anything done with coloured pencils, I can look at it and I will know whether that person has spent a long time doing it or not, and how much practice they've had, you know. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with buying a picture from someone who's starting out, who isn't as good, just because you really like it. Of course not, but it's just the obscene amounts of money people will pay. It's just ridiculous. It's you know, it makes no sense to me. We used to have a graffiti artist who had a shop unit in our town, who was selling his canvases, and they were just not my sort of thing at all. They're very political as well. I don't like political art. I think art should be for relaxing and enjoying, not for making political statements, but most people disagree with me. But it's because my experience of doing art is about relaxing. I don't want to be thinking about issues that make me head up or cross while I'm just colouring, which I'm doing today, aren't I? But anyway, it was just interesting. I've just been on the phone to my mum. She's getting her house spring cleaned. We're all going up at the weekend. Myself, my husband, my kids, and my sister, her husband, her kids. Well, one of them is at away with her father, but she might be in time to pop in. She might not. So we'll see. But it should be a nice little get together. My mum's asked me to take a jigsaw, so I've got a 500 piece jigsaw, which I did it in about, me and my family, we did it together. It took us an hour or two. So I thought with 11 or 12 of us there, we should be able to get it done in an afternoon. So she asked me to take that, so I've put that by. I've got to wrap up her prezi. It's her, it's my mum's birthday coming up, which is why we're all getting together to have a little, excuse me, celebration, which should be fun. And yeah, so it'll be nice for us all to get together. And also it's Mother's Day on that day as well. It would have passed by now. I'm not sure what week this is. What week is this? 27th. Yeah, Mother's Day the 19th. So yeah. So it's so it'll be really nice. We do like a bit of a get together. See my nieces and nephews. See my parents, my sister. You know, we've been able to. I sort of appreciate it more because obviously there was a time when we couldn't get together and we had to stay in, and so being able to get back together again is rather nice. And yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend getting ready. Normally we're doing it on Sunday. Normally on a Sunday, I'm going to do all these little lines and ledges in the gold. So I'm just going to go through and do that, make them dark on the edge and lighter in the middle. Yeah, I normally do all my cleaning on a Sunday and my ironing, so I'm going to have to do that on Saturday. And I also will have extra washing to do and things like that. So that it'll be okay. Just means I'll get less colouring time over the weekend, which I usually get a lot done. But hey, it'll be nice to see family, of course. And yes, I could take colouring with me, but I tend not to because they don't like it. So, but there we go. But I've got to wrap my mum's birthday present. I haven't done that yet. Let's remember. I'm not sure which bits to do. I think I'll do that bit. And I've got to grab her a Mother's Day present too. I was going to get a plant or something. That's the usual thing for Mother's Day, isn't it? Right, now buildings. I'm thinking greens be fun. Greens and browns. Oh, I'm sorry, got knocked out of shot. I think you were still in shot just about. Hopefully. Okay, let's go for the sage green for the main parts of the buildings, and then we'll do some sort of highlighty areas in a brown. So I'm going to sort of do the plainer bits. I don't know if I'm making sense. I know what I mean. You'll see. The sort of big areas, and actually I do this bit, but I don't know about the bit underneath. Maybe not. No. So these are a bit different to the fish in that the buildings are all going to have some of each colour on, whereas the fish were all different colours. I think that's okay though. Trying to make it a bit dark on the edge. I think I need to sharpen my pencil. I think that's what's going wrong. There we go. Better. That's better. But yeah, it should be fun. Everyone together, having fun. And my niece is going to cook because it's Mother's Day. Her mum doesn't want to do it, and apparently I've got to have a break as well, which I don't tend to worry about Mother's Day for me. I don't really get it. Maybe I'm just being an old, boring old fart or something, but I just think I chose to have children. Why should they have to give me a day off? That's up to me. It's my fault. I don't know. And it also comes from when I was little. I used to go, well, why is there no Children's Day? My mum would go, well, because there isn't. But I don't know. Of course, until you become a mum, you don't realise how much work you do have to do. But again, as I said, I feel like these are windows. I'm going to leave those. I'm going to do my windows in a sort of really bright yellowy colour, I think. I feel like until you become a mum, you don't quite realise how much work there is to do. But, as I say, it's something that I chose to do. So I don't see why the children should have to do anything. Although I have told my children that once they finish their exams, and they're going to have to make a meal once a week. And I think I only told one of my boys. I could tell the other one. And my boy said, well, he said, does that mean we have to cook for you? And I said, well, it would be nice, but you don't have to. I can always shove something in the oven for me, do a sort of veggie tray bake or something like that, you know. And he said, because I'd quite like to do things that you can't eat, Mum, like onions and chilli and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, of course you can, you know. So so that's fine. So, and they can cook together. I think, although they're not leaving home for university, they need to learn. So and I'm hoping I can keep to that once they start university. It depends how much work they have, but then actually they need to start balancing work and chores. We have to as adults. So maybe I'll keep it up, but we'll see. But so that should be nice. It's not for me to get time off. I don't mind doing it. I actually really enjoy cooking, and they always help me anyway. When they're at home with the main meal. So it's just I think they need to learn to do it completely on their own for when they move out. It's this sort of skill we all need. And I know, like when my dad left home, he was 21 when he got married, something like that. He couldn't boil an egg, apparently, so my mum tells me. He denies it, he reckons he could do that, but he still doesn't cook much. He helps with other jobs, you know. It's not something he enjoys doing, and that's absolutely fine, you know, but he I don't know. I'll have a think in a minute. But he, you know, and I believe that the boys should be able to do it, because you can't just assume that they'll leave home and they'll be with a woman that will do all the work for them. We're not living in that time anymore. Firstly, they might not leave home and move in with anyone. They might move in alone. They might move in with a man. Who knows? And I've just noticed another rooftop harvest gold. So, and also, if everyone in the household is working, they all need to do their share. You know, my mum, when my mum gave up work quite soon after she got married. Not that soon, but a little while after. So it was only fair that she did more of the housework, you know, although she used to like a bit of help. But me and my sister would help her. But again, you need to learn as a child how to do it. So we used to have to do it in the holidays when we were home. If we were home on the cleaning day, we had to help, and that's what my boys do. Although our cleaning day is a weekend, but if they've got homework, they're allowed to do that instead. But as I say, once they finish college, that'll change. So, just they need to learn about pulling their weight and, you know, being helpful basically. Okay, we're nearly done with this. I haven't really done much shading. I've just put down some colour. I've just been enjoying myself really. There we go. Now I'm going to do the windows next. While I remember, I want the really yellowy colour. There's a light, it's some Vegas yellow. So I'm going to do all the bits that I think are windows. Those probably were, but hey. And you can see it's a lot lighter than the colour of the roofs. That's good. And it looks like light. And I'm actually going to do it in this doorway as well, because here we've got these big arches that look the same size, but I'm going to do them as windows. So I just think it will sort of tie up. Now if you don't have the metallics, there's plenty of options here. This green is, it's called sage, it probably is. It's like maybe almost a mossy green, something like that. And this being a goldy yellow. And then the roofs being more of an ochre, I suppose. And the windows. It's quite fun doing it quite plain as well, quite relaxed and chill. So I am now going to go for a different green. This one is called Envy. It's a little bit more green. You'll see what I mean, less brown and more green. And I'm going to do the bits that I've left, and also have a think about some of the areas I wasn't sure how to colour, because I'm just looking, there aren't any more greens in this sort of colour family, so I'm going to have to just use these two. So I'll have to decide. See, I'm going to do those two the same. I think it works. I can't believe it's getting so near to the end of March already. It seems to be flying by this year. I thought I would have finished loads of colouring books by now, but I haven't. But that's okay, because I don't like to just work in a book for the sake of finishing it. I want to have fun, and so what I do is, if I can't decide what to colour, I grab a book I want to finish and have a go in there. but sometimes I've got other ideas, or I've got buddy colours which are fun, things like that. So it just depends what I'm up to. But I finished one book, and this month I think that flip through scheduled to go out tomorrow, I want to say, but I can't be 100% sure. I might mix it around a bit anyway. Sometimes I move my videos around. I think I'm going to do that there. And do those other 2 bits in the sage. This pencil needs sharpening. A bit more. Okay. Yeah, sage for those. I nearly just colour them in anyway. So there we go. I'm quite I'm sort of planning a little night away with my husband soon, I think, leaving the children in the house on their own. You need to start learning how to do that sort of thing and managing. And but I don't know where we could go. The problem is that I can't eat anything. Well, that's not entirely true, but you know, I'm very restricted, so it doesn't make going away much fun unless we self-cater, which is all fine, but finding somewhere at last minute, it's easier to find a cheap hotel than it is a self-catering place. Right, I'm just grabbing the sage and just finishing off those bits that I've left. It seems very dark today. I don't know what's going on with the weather. Yeah, I know these are sort of separated, but I think it will look better like this. When we've done this, we can have some fun with some metallics. I'm gonna come out a little so you can see the full page. There we go. Now I brought my Sakura Gellyroll metallics through. The first one I'm going to do is this, I think that blue for the sky. I could do silver, but no, I know. I'm going to do this one, this sort of black. It's not really black, it's a sort of dark grey. I think that will be better. So I'm going to do that for each of the bubbles. And these sort of lines here. I'm just going to follow Johanna's lines and we'll just give them some shine, really. I have thought that I could use more sparkles, like on the fish, on the roofs, that sort of thing, but I'm not sure whether it'll just look a bit over the top. You'll probably say, over the top with sparkle? Is that even possible? I can have a think. Because I could do a bit of gold around the roofs, but then would I need to do some green around the rest and outline the fish in some pink, and it might just get a bit tedious. Okay, I didn't use my brush because I didn't want to accidentally squodge the gel, but I should have done really. We're nearly done. It's fun doing this. It's very relaxing, I find. There. Now, I was just thinking of one last thing that we could do. With the Mykonos black, we could do a bit of shadowing just to give a slightly more three-dimensional look. I'm going to do it on the fish first. I'm going to have to turn them upside down. This is going to really confuse me when I'm editing, or else I'm going to put my hand in the wet, and I'm just going to do it around each fish where one overlaps the other, so that they stand out a little bit more. Oops, I did that in the wrong place. Just so it looks like there's a bit of shadow behind the fish. And then we're going to do the same thing with the buildings. Which should hopefully make a bit of a difference. It may not though. You can judge. Can you see? Yeah. Sorry it's upside down. Imagine if you just suddenly tuned in, which you can't with a video, I realise that, unless it's live. Went, upside down. Different. Oh, I missed a bit there, haven't I, this one? Let me just look. I think, oh no, here. Yeah, I think it just gives them slightly more three-dimensional look, and then we can do the same around the building so that the ones that are in front look more like they're in front. It just almost makes it look like there's this shadow. And because they're all the same colour, it's the best way to help it to stand out. It doesn't take long. You can spend longer making everything a bit darker and that's further back, etc. But this isn't meant to be anything too tricky, just a simple way to make them stand out just a little bit. There we go. And if I tip it, you can see the shine of the pencil and the pen, but I'm going to put it down there in the middle for a little photo ready for the thumbnail. So there, I think I am done with that one. So the sky part is very simplistic. It might have looked better if it was black, thinking about it, but I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go over it in black or anything. I could do, but obviously I've already put my pen down now, but I could scratch the pen off on it, but no, I'm just going to leave it like that. But there we go. So that was a bit different, metallics, and our last page for March, which feels very odd. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully you'll join me tomorrow for something different. But for now, thank you very much and happy colouring.